got another nice boring job in, or a boring mill job that I'm going to do. I got a gearbox housing here that I've got to mill the feet on the bottom. I had a lot of contamination. I'll show you that in just a minute here, but I'm going to show you this is something that I haven't got to show on video before. This is an adapter that bolts onto the faceplate of the boring mill that accepts a 50 taper tool. And this you've probably seen in my videos in the past when I was doing a little bit of milling. This is that new 50 taper shell mill holder that I had purchased, and the 6-inch face mill that was given to me by my friend Mike. And this is the adapter here. It got pretty rusty sitting up on the shelf for a long time. I haven't used this in years actually. Just haven't had a need for it in a long time, but it bolts onto the chuck and it's piloted by the spindle here. It bolts on, and I'm going to have to come up with a draw bolt for it. I don't know what happened to it, so I'm going to have to make up a draw bolt to hold it into the it goes up in there, holds it in. So got to do that first. I've also got to change out the inserts. I brought in some of the extra inserts here that Mike had given me to use with the shell mill. This is some of the larger radius. One of my concerns is that this boring mill doesn't spin really fast enough, but these are really required to spin at, so hopefully they'll work. If not, I'll take this out, and I got a shell mill that I can use too. There's the box that we're going to work on. You can see the rust contamination that was on the bottom, so we want to mill some of this, make it flat again. We'll have to relieve a little more in the middle probably. And also brought in my big boy Noga, and I'm going to use that to do the indicating. We'll get her trammed in nice and square here. Want to try to get them even on both ends. We'll go ahead and reset a 0 there. One thou. So I got 4 studs in this inside pulling it down. There we go. That's showing. I'm going to call that within 1/1000ths. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move her back over and retorque those 4 studs. I've got it sitting on parallels. We're using those big parallels, and then some more parallels on top of that, so that I can get down to the center height, because the spindle won't go down even with the table. I can't bolt it flat down to the table and work down here at the bottom, so I got to pick it up. Come on, man. Get on there. There we go. I was able to find a bolt, this 1" 8 thread This was a stainless bolt that's back there in the gearbox shop. I went ahead and bead blasted it to clean it up because it was pretty grimy. But I'm gonna have to make a washer for it. But this will be a good bolt for this. So I found a piece of 2.5 inch chrome bar stock. It's just an old scrap rod that we're gonna chuck up and drill a 1 inch hole through it and part it off, make it kind of thick. Let's see, there's plenty of length there, so we'll go with alright, so that's about 1 5/8. So let's just make it like a 1/2 inch thick, be a nice thick washer, back it up. Turn this chrome off because it's usually a bitch to try to part through. Okay, 1/2 inch wide. Here we go. Oh, it don't like that. Insert feels a little dull. Need a new brush now. Alrighty, do a little deburr and dress on that. That insert leaving a crappy finish, but that'll work. Alright, there's our washer we just made. I just hit it on the belt sander. We'll put this side down. Alright, we got a socket and my 1/2 inch impact here. Give it a little of the air juice. Okay, that'll work. I just need to go ahead and change out these inserts because the corners are, I burned up the corners over on the K&T. Go ahead and get that done. Okay. We got the, these are the T-nuts. 4 of them. And like I said, that fits on the spindle, so we can kind of work that up in here. Line up these studs. I've got everything wiped off, so hopefully there's no grit or dust behind this at all. I think what we'll do, I'm going to snug this up and I'll put an indicator on it and run it, see how true it's running, and see if we can bump it in. It should be pretty close. It's been so long since I've done this, I don't know what kind of run out to expect on it, so let's see. Not very stable right there. We'll give it a shot. Well, ain't too bad. Thousandths. Can't really complain about that too much. Let's see if it stays whenever I tighten these things up, because it might move. Bad at all. I'm seeing about 1,000. I'm getting ready to touch this thing off, and then we'll move it up. I'll feed in, and then we'll feed down. Okay. I'm running about 200 RPM on the spindle. All right, touching there. Start with 25 thousandths. Lock the table. I can't bring the head won't feed all the way down to clear this, and it is trying to drag slightly on the back. So what I did was I fed the table that direction to try to clean it up. So what I'm going to do is make one more cleanup cut on this side. I'm going to let the table feed to this way to us across here, and then I'll feed it up, and we'll go that way, and we'll see if that'll eliminate the dragging motion that's taking place here. So we're feeding up now. 127 millimeters per minute. There's our finish on our second pass there, and I think this is going to be good, but we won't know until we go over there and we do some cutting on the other side, because that's the worst. I'm just going to have to get a little bit of make a couple passes and see what it looks like, and I'll probably have to let the mechanic make the call on how much we're actually going to be cleaning up on this. So this did good though. The inserts did well. Everything was pretty stable. The cut itself seemed to do better going up, so I think we might have something to consider there as far as our ways and the lead screw moving with the head. It may be kicked at a slight angle, just enough to make it drag on the way down, because it did good going up. But we'll feed down, do the same thing. We'll feed down on one cut, and then we'll come back up and clean it up again, okay? All right, I did my first pass down, and now I fed back into my zero from the first side here, and we're gonna feed over and then go back up. And then we'll look at it. I'm gonna get the guys to look at it and see if we need to go ahead and remove quite a bit more of that. Just trying to do a cleanup for now. So I let the mechanic look at it, and he said let's try to take another 25 or 30 off of it and see where we stand, but it'll probably be okay after we make that cut. So we'll do another I'll do another 25 on the dial. We'll feed in and go up, and I'm taking note, and with the hook scale here, on how wide this flat is, where it's relieved in the center, and it's 4 1/8 of an inch, and that's on both sides. So just in case it starts cutting into this, you know, when I come up, I'll know where I need to come in here and relieve the center. kind of give you a little overview of the machine while it's cutting there. These are part of your feed boxes there. Those control your feeds and your feed direction. You basically have a high and a low, and you have 3 selections for high and low. That changes your direction of feed. This one changes for your X, Y, or Z movements. Those change your gearbox speeds. That looks pretty good right there, and I believe that's going to be acceptable because these are some pretty deep pittings inside there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move over, and we'll cut this side here to match it, and just leave everything set where it's at. We'll cut this side, and then I'm going to come back in and relieve the center. I'm not really sure how this is going to work, but I've got the table, or the head anyway, I've got it low as I can get it. Alright, so I don't quite clear the bottom of the gearbox. We lack probably a ½ inch or so. I'm going to go ahead and manually feed it in to the depth that I want, and I'll probably just do it in 2 passes so that it's not so deep. And I'm just going to go ahead and feed up, and I'm hoping that it'll be okay for the cutter to drag on the back side and clean this a little bit up on the bottom. I'm thinking that it'll work, so let's go ahead and try it. Actually, this might work out good there because it's not even touching yet. That's going to be a 50 thousandths there. This will be our last pass. There's a final shot of the whole job. It's complete, and the mechanic's happy with that. It looks good, and I'm happy the way it turned out. So this one's done, and I want to give another thanks to my friend Mike. Mike knows who he is, for giving me this awesome face mill and the inserts with it too. Man, that thing did great on this mill. So now I know I got two good machines that thing could be used on. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll see you on the next one.